Okay. Callisto thought for a while, then said, "Sorry, Newton, we had our chance, but we now lack the energy to destroy the absorber. Since it feeds off of those who look at it, maybe we could keep them from looking at it." "And how are we going to do that?" asked Newton, thinking he was dealing with the impossible. "By putting out a broadcast from Mutania that is so strong on all channels that no matter where they turn the dial, they will get our message in video form, telling them to refuse to obey Bob." Newton nearly shouted out, "That's easier said than done, my friend. Since facing that thing means not having a city incinerated or keeping one from going to hell, they will only view such a message as satanic, and will face the absorber anyway. And let's face it, they already witnessed me not only failing, but literally shrinking away from Bob, and, in their mind, getting crushed under the huge foot of Bob, followed by the complete and utter destruction of their city that I caused. No doubt they think it was we who then caused Bob to explode and destroy so much of their city, when in actuality it was Bob making it look like we were causing him to explode about the city. Their precious population of their city be damned." And he looked about and said, Newton then looked about and said, "I don't know about you, my crew, but I don't have a good track record when it comes to winning the hearts and minds of those people down there. I think our only hope of freeing them now is to destroy the absorber, and Bob goes poof into a cloud of Potnoir dust. I mean, it was supposedly Bob who created this entire planet in mere seconds, was it not? If Bob can't stop the absorber from being destroyed, what will that tell his faithful? Oh, by the way, Callisto, have you learned anything from reading that holy book that might be of use?" Callisto thought and said, "Bob really seems to hate the wax of this planet's kumbo tree. It considers the sticky wax of the tree unclean and unholy. I guess you would say not kosher." "Bizarre," said Newton. But you broke in and said, "Before the glowing beam showed up, kumbo wax was seen as a miracle wax. It had properties in it that scientists were thinking of using to help fuel our rockets. And a lot of our things were made from it. Since it was seen as unholy, many things in our lives came to a standstill." Newton then said, the god of Ramada probably just declared kumbo tree wax is unholy to keep Potnoirs from joining the Federation. A way to keep them stuck on this planet, so it could keep on feeding off of their life energy till the end of time. Unholy, yeah, right. "You might have something there about wanting to keep them from achieving spaceflight, Newton," said Callisto. "In the scriptures of the Worship Me or Else, there's a passage that says if the Potnoirs try to leave the planet in some kind of vehicle, they will be attacked by stars in the lowest heaven." "Lowest heaven?" wondered Pat Mason. "Where is that?" "The lowest sky. In actuality, the very atmosphere of this planet," said Callisto. "What?" shouted Newton. "It says that they will be attacked by stars in the atmosphere of the planet? The lowest sky? Lowest heaven?" "Yes. It also says that the sky is actually a canopy held up over the heads of the Potnoirs by the very power of Bob himself, and that the sky is actually an ocean of water that both the sun and moon ride boats or chariots in, vessels. Not only do they ride or swim in it, but they are, apparently, living life forms that spawn the Potnoir race by the power of Bob. In other words, both the moon and sun of the Patamars' parents. Obakova started laughing. Callisto went on and said, apparently, the god of Ramadar is trying to build into the successive generations of the Patamar inhabitants a very primitive type of mentality that will keep them marooned on their planet. But it's more than unscientific. It is also preaching a moral code of conduct that is so corrupt, so twisted, and so illogical that according to one scriptural passage, you can actually kill an innocent youth just by fearing that they will either one day disappoint parents or show ungratefulness toward Bob. With that, Fuyu broke in and said, "No, you have it wrong, Callisto. I'm familiar with that passage. It's quoted by one of the Ramadars, who knew that the boy would grow up to do bad things. That is why he killed him when he was innocent. It was to show the prophetic powers of Bob." Callisto thought briefly, then responded back with, "If so, why was the word fear mentioned? If this Ramadar was the prophet you claim him to be, or as they claim him to be, why should he have feared the boy turning toward error? The word no would have been the word to suffice. That they would know that he would turn out wrong. Also, in my reading of this book, I have learned that not only is slavery allowed, but those who are most willing to face the absorber can have sex with slave girls who are married to the slothful." "Say what?" "Yeah, say what?" shouted Jeff Long. "You've got to be kidding. You've got to be kidding," shouted Jeff Obakova. We broke in and said, "That's only if they don't like their disbelieving husbands and run to be with the most pious toward Bob." Callisto said, "That's not mentioned anywhere in that book. It clearly doesn't state that at all." Jeff Long shook his head from side to side and said, "Man, it allows for slavery and says it's okay to have sex with a slave girl who's married. Damn, that ain't right, know what I'm saying? That totally takes away the gripe of my people for the time there was slavery in America, if that damn book were true." Obakova then said, "Takes away the gripe of my people for the time the black man on my planet enslaved my people, know what I'm saying?" Crewman Matt Mason then responded with, "Amazing. What other stupid, evil things does it say?" Callisto thought a bit and said, "If you eat a certain number of a certain type of fruit, you will be protected all day from both magic and poison." "What?" "It says that?" Newton nearly shouted. "Does it also say that the sun sets in murky springs, prostrates on the throne of Bob before asking permission to rise again?" Callisto thought a moment and said, "No, nothing quite that backward, but I nearly cracked a smile when it went into depth of how a solar eclipse occurs." "Oh, I can imagine," smiled Newton. "But look here," said Newton. "So this book has some really stupid evil things in it. That's not the thing that is important here, people. What is important is finding out what we can do that will not only free those poor souls down there from such an evil piece of lying garbage, but also make it so Bob will never show his ugly weird beard of a face on this planet ever again. Yeah, stars attacking you in the atmosphere under a well-guarded canopy that is supposed to be the sky made of an ocean of water that the sun and moon ride in over their heads by the power of Bob. How incredibly stupid." Sheena added, "And again, the sun and moon in this book are supposed the parents of the Patamars." "Well, that takes a cake," said Newton. "You can't say that the god of Ramadar doesn't have a sense of humor in its lies." There was a pause. 10 hours until the people face the absorber, Newton," said Obakova. Newton told his crew that in 10 hours he wanted it broadcast all over Patamar that Operation Patamar Freedom would commence, beginning not only with the destruction of the absorber, but it would be desecrated as well, proving that Bob might be able to take a good punch from a giant of his own size, but is nothing when it came to the power, to the weapons of Newtania. And, said Newton with growing excitement, when they see the destruction and desecration of that monstrous golden dome, they will know then and there that there is no Bog. All that recitation of creating the planet in mere seconds, a total lie. And if there is a god called Bog, he is quite powerless against someone else's technology. Bog? Asked Sheena. You said Bog. Oops, wrong devil. Bog is my Bob to deal with. Our Bob, said the crew in unison. You know something? I think I'll clear it right there.